Boys, gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, baby. Guys, in this video, we are speaking about another very interesting topic, and that is when you are emotional, how you have to avoid trading at all costs, bro. And you get better at managing this over the years. But really, what I mean by this is, dude, if you're going through something, on like a certain day that's like really emotional, that really gets to you, by all costs, like avoid trading for as long as you need to, bro. Now, I'm not saying, don't trade for a whole month, a couple months. Like, that's not really what I'm saying. But if you need to take a break from the charts, bro, for like a day, 2 days, 3 days, maybe even a week, maybe even 2 weeks, bro, like, do it. Because trading is one of those things, bro, where like if you go through something and you're really emotional, like, you grinding on the charts isn't gonna make you more money. Like, trading is one of those things where you can come into the market and lose everything you've worked so hard for because you're emotional. Like, compared to something else, like, you know what, this girl broke my heart, for example. I'm gonna take the next, or just literally, I'm gonna work for the next 3 days straight on my business and try to make money. Like, with trading, that's not really the case. And it's very, very much different. Now, I'm not saying, if you go through something that you can't back test for 3 days straight, or you can't now work harder on your trading ability. But what I would definitely recommend, bro, is like, when you do go through something like that, that you do stay away from trading for a while. Because not a while, but for a little bit of time. Because with me, I remember for myself, when I would like have a pretty hard day, bro, like emotionally, like I said, where like maybe you just go through something that's not the norm, something a little deeper, like I said, where maybe a girl breaks your heart, or like you get in like a huge argument with your parents. Like, I remember that was one of those two, where like I got in a big argument with my family because they wanted me to go to school and shit. And you're on the charts, this shit's gonna work, but everybody's telling you to fucking go to school because maybe the results haven't shown yet or whatever. And then I just remember, like, I took all this fucking anger and emotion into my trading night, into my trading day, well, night technically, because I always trade London session. And like, imagine taking all those emotions into the charts when you know damn well that the charts are a mirror of yourself. Like, it's not going to go well, bro. And that's exactly what happened to me. I don't remember the specifics of it, but I do know it went something along the lines, bro, where I took a loss and I was like, fuck. Like, everybody's still right. I got to make my money back. And then boom, boom, boom. And next thing you know, like, blowing the whole fucking account, or take like 5 losses for the day, losing the whole account, basically. And that's why I say, like, what's better than doing that? Stepping away from the charts, even if a setup is there, bro, even whatever, if the conditions are perfect, like, just stay your ass away from the computer sometimes. Like, there's gonna be an endless amount of opportunities in the markets, brother. And so this was just a big lesson I had to learn a couple times over and over and over, where like, when I was specifically going through something a little more intense, like, the best thing I did and could do was literally just step away from the charts, bro. Literally, either go to bed a little fucking early for once, or go play some video games, or, go to the gym, or maybe, as I was saying earlier, where I would just take my attention and put it into something that still was obviously going to help me grind, but not like actively taking positions and being like kind of directly involved in the market. This is when I would go on YouTube and literally just watch videos and study for like 6-8 hours straight, like all night, and literally until the sun would come up. I remember those times in specific, bro. But then you go to sleep and I'm waking up in like the afternoon because I stayed up all night just on the charts, or going to hit like a late night fucking gym session, like just absolutely locked in to the gym, and things along those lines, where, because this is why I said, like, trading isn't one of those things, bro, where you can show up and pretty much get paid to be there, and business is really the same way as well. Like, you don't necessarily get paid to be there, but you kind of do, because in business, there is essentially like that correlation where the more you put in, the more you get out, and until a certain point, like less is more. But with trading, realistically, like less is more a majority of the time. You just don't know it yet. And obviously not taking into account like chart experience and things along those lines. But you'll get to that point. And this is why I also said where you get better at dealing with this over the years, because what happens is when you do become very, very disciplined, you know, knowing how to execute and follow your plan, regardless if something does happen to you or not, it won't affect you as much as it has in the past, with your trading in the future, because again, you've just learned to perform for so long, learned to follow your plan for so long. And it's just like such a habit. And this is also like a funny conversation, because as the years go by, and specifically with traders, I don't know if this is maybe just a success thing or with traders as a whole, but what I've come to notice is like, dude, for the guys that are like killing shit, like knocking things down, you know, businessmen, or you're a very successful trader, entrepreneur, whatever, like, bro, a lot of the times your emotions, like, yes, you're in tune with them and this and that, but you don't really give a fuck about a lot of things like you did before. And so when you are hit with like a heartbreak, bro, or when you are hit with like, you know, a very bad day, or you know, you fight with somebody, or, you know, maybe you lose a loved one or something like that. I'm not saying it's not going to hurt you as much, but you definitely, because you've learned so much and you've grown so much, and because, you know, you've gone through so many fucking failures in your journey, in your business, in your trading, like, it doesn't affect you as much because you've become like emotionless a lot of the times, is what I like to say, but not obviously to the point of, you know, becoming completely like a robot. We know that's pretty much impossible for the most part. But just a very important lesson for you guys to know, man, is if you're actively going through something or something happens to you, I promise you the best thing you can do is stay away from the market for as long as you need. You know, even to this day, I remember, I just know that something happened to me. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I literally took like a whole week away from trading because I knew that my emotions were going to fucking literally like have such a big effect into my trading that I was like, no, I'm not going to trade. I'm not in the right mental space to trade right now. And I think this is also such an important thing, because I think a majority of traders come into the markets, you know, start their journey in the beginning, knowing damn well that they're not even in the right headspace to begin with, you know, because a lot of the times, like, why are you coming into the markets? You know, probably because you need money, bro. Maybe you've gone through something traumatic. Maybe you understand that it's time to lock in. And even that, you know, if you're in the middle of going through something, like, it's not the right way to come into things, right? Because then what are you going to do? Again, like, you're going to allow for all those emotions to play out into what you're trying to do. And then obviously as time goes on, you know, you get better, you learn, you get yourself into the right headspace. Like, you got to think about it this way. And this is why I'm sure you guys have heard so many people in the trading space say this to you as well. It's like, dude, if you're completely, you know, dead broke or something along those lines, and you're coming into the markets as like a last resort on trying to make money, knowing damn well like this is your last money that you've put into your trading account, bro, it's gonna be like extremely, I'm not saying it's impossible, it definitely is, but if you haven't, you know, had the experience, gained the skill, you haven't been involved in the markets, like, you are approaching this game and coming into the markets already with such a negative and wrong way of thinking, literally just in the wrong headspace, that you shouldn't even be in there to begin with. You know, like, this is why trading isn't necessarily, well, it is a last resort. You know, it's a lot of the times what gets people involved, but you stay for the right reasons. But trading is not one of those things that, you know, you can just desperately fall into and be successful like that. Like, no, bro, you're going to desperately fall into trading, or maybe you aren't, maybe you're coming into the markets with money, but you'll find out very quick that this isn't something that just is a get rich quick scheme, or, you know, something that you can learn very, very, very fast. And you can, don't get me wrong, when you think about your lifetime and how long it'll take you to master a skill that will change your life, it technically is very, very fast, even if it takes you a couple of years. But motherfuckers nowadays want things to happen in the span of a week, 2 months, 3 months. Like, no, bro, this is gonna take time, you know. But all I'm getting at is really approaching things with the right headspace and having the right kinds of expectations, and knowing that, dude, when you're not in the right headspace, when you're going through something, just take a step back, bro. Take a step back, go work on something else inside of your trading. You know, maybe getting a better plan to put together. Maybe you have everything put together. Maybe just literally take yourself out of the fucking markets. Like, I've been listening to a lot of Alex Hormozi recently. I said this in another video, and I'll probably make this also a separate video in itself. But I always used to think, like, for example, I don't fucking play video games. Like, I don't. I think if you're a grown-ass man and you don't have your shit together, what the fuck are you doing playing video games? You know, I thought like that for a very long time. I still do to this day. But as I've been listening to a lot of Alex Hormozi recently, and, you know, specifically within, like, the last 6-12 months of my life, even though I was listening to him pretty much since the beginning, as he popped up on my YouTube, what I've noticed is, bro, you're better off, like, going to play video games today if you're emotional and you know you shouldn't be involved in the markets. You're better off going to play these video games during your trading session than not play video games because you want to stay locked in and trade, knowing damn well that you shouldn't be trading, that you're emotional. And so basically what Alex Hormozi said is, like, dude, instead of, you know, trying to go and do another thing, or, you know, getting too distracted with, like, another business, or do something, like, dude, fucking pick up a hobby or go do some bullshit. And that's why I gave you guys the example of, like, playing video games, because as I said in the example, like, I think if you're a grown-ass fucking man and you don't have your shit together, like, play video games, you know. But in that example where it's like, you can go, bro. Like, if you know that it's better for you to do this one thing and it's gonna do less damage than the other where you're gonna feel locked in, go play video games, go, you know. But with that being said, a lot of the times it's not the case. Like, there's so many other things that you could do, that you could work on. Like, I remember Alex Hormozi said in specific, he's like, dude, when I'm feeling like that, where essentially, because the overarching, like, scenario with the conversation he had was, he always feels like he has to do more because he was talking to somebody in specific that, like, already had a successful business, but he has a lot of time, and so he wants to get involved into something else. And Alex was basically explaining to him, like, don't. Like, if you feel like you have to go and now do something else, basically just stay locked in and put more of what you're doing into, you know, marketing. That's what Alex does. He's like, I just put more into marketing, because what does marketing do? Kind of fuels everything else. But he's like, go pick up a hobby, or, you know, something along those lines. And that's what I'm kind of getting at with this example, is, like, you do always have something that you can go and put more work into. Like, there's literally always something that necessarily does need to be done, or that can essentially, that you can put more work into. Doesn't mean it has to be you trading and live executing in the market. Like, you could, I'm not the biggest believer in back testing a lot of the times, but you could go and back test for 3 days straight. You could go to the gym for fucking 3 days straight. I don't know. You could go sauna, cold plunge, you know, do some things to help you with whatever you're trying to do, or maybe you have something else, whatever. But really, the point I just want to get across in this video is, guys, a lot of the times in my journey, I remember where if I was going through something, a big argument with my parents, or I was talking to a girl and then, you know, we stopped talking or whatever, you know, get your heart broken. Maybe you get in a big fight with a very close family member, whatever it is. Maybe somebody dies in your family. Like, when you're feeling off, the best thing that I ever did in those scenarios was literally just take a step away from my trading, bro. Because otherwise, as I said earlier, I would come into the markets and feel like number one, I would have something to prove, or just literally let those emotions take a hold of me. And obviously, we know if you trade with emotions, you're absolutely fucking cooked. Like, you're cooked. Next thing you know, you take 1 loss, 2 loss, 3 loss. Maybe you want to make your money back. You know how it goes from there. And then just the other point to preface, you know, because there's a very specific example that I want to give you guys if you guys know who Jordan is, I don't know his full name, but if you guys know who FX Alex G is, you should if you're in the trading space. He's a really big trading influencer or trader. One of his students' name was Jordan, and essentially he had like, I think, some kind of cancer. And he was still trading like while actively being in the hospital, going through cancer and things along those lines. And imagine how that affects you, right? And how you should basically like take a step away from trading. Now, I don't know the specifics with, if he traded, during this or that, but for the most part, you can get the point that he kind of did a lot of the times. And mind you, he has cancer. He's going through something. Like by the way, this guy died of cancer. Rest in peace, Jordan. Not too long ago. I think it was about a month or two ago, but he became very profitable and things along those lines. And so what I think does happen with this, in the example that I was giving you guys earlier, you get better at managing your emotions, obviously, and with the discipline as the years go on, as time goes on in your trading, where, for example, like now, just put it this way, if a girl were to break my heart today, or I were to have a big argument with my family today, or somebody in my family were to die today, whatever, compared to that back then, I'm going to be able to handle that a lot better now in my trading than I would back then. Like, you just have to put it that way, because you've learned so much in the years with your craft and following your plan. Now, regardless of the matter, for me in specific, like, most likely, and this is what I'm telling you to do, I will still take the day off from trading. Like, if some shit like that happens, I will still take the day off. But I've gone through things now compared to back then where I've still been able to trade and follow my plan, where I'm like, I see what has happened. I've been able to get better at, basically managing my emotions. And I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. Basically, just following the plan, because it's very simple to understand compared to as I was back then. Like, you don't let yourself feed into things as you did back then, and maybe that's just you growing as a person, but at the end of the day, once you get to a certain point, you do realize that that's really all trading is. That's really all business is in entrepreneurship. It's literally just kind of you growing in self-development, bro, and that's kind of it. It's like maybe a big statement to say, but a lot of the times, bro, yes, obviously skill included and experience, but a majority of it is personal development. Like, there's a saying, your level of income will never outgrow your level of self-development. It will not, because your self-development is everything. It's like that cap, bro. And so nothing will be able to grow past your own cap on yourself, and that self-development is where that ceiling is. Like, you dictate that ceiling, and so you have to grow as a person in order to like grow as a successful business owner, successful trader. Otherwise, like, I'm telling you, it's going to be very, very, very difficult, if not impossible, to allow that for you to happen. So boys, hopefully you guys took something valuable from this video, man. Looks like it's coming up on like 18 minutes. Guys, if you want to be involved and learn how to trade from me, join my trading group that is not out yet, but you can join the wait list. Will be out here within the next couple of weeks. You can join the link in the description. Not couple of weeks, sorry, but very, very soon. Waitlist in the description. As always, love you boys, and I will see you gentlemen in the next video.